the new police dispatch.
Welcome to Town Hall, folks. It's great to have a bunch of kids in the room and family members. It is a special night tonight. We're going to start off with a presentation by the police department, but first I'm going to ask our town clerk to take attendance and start the meeting off with a Pledge of Allegiance.
Happy to do that. On a roll call, Councilman Troy. Present. Councilman Divney.
Here.
Councilman Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Batari. Here. Supervisor Stewart.
Here.
And I would ask that one of the hut markers please begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Terrence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well done.
Thank you, Charlie, and thank you to the Hut
Well
Marker
done.
family. Chief Nolte, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Supervisor Stewart, members of the town board. Before we get into the formal part of tonight's ceremony, I'm just going to read something called the Police Officer's Prayer. And after that, we'll have a moment of silence in memory of the 5 police officers whose lives were taken in Dallas, Texas last week. And I just want to tell you, I looked online for a prayer that the president was down there, and President Bush was down in Dallas today. Everything was a little bit too long, so I went back to my standard police officer's prayer, and then I'll make some comments, and then we'll have that moment of silence. The police officer's prayer. Lord, I ask for courage. Courage to face and conquer my own fear. Courage to take me where others will not go. I ask for strength. Strength of body to protect others. Strength of spirit to lead others. I ask for dedication. Dedication to my community to keep it safe. Give me, Lord, concern for those who trust me and for compassion for those who need me. And please, Lord, through it all, be by my side. Last Thursday, 100 police officers went out to protect 800 people who were demonstrating for a cause known as Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry about that. And I think little did they know, like any police officer, thought it was just probably going to be an ordinary tour of duty, but they going out there to protect the First Amendment rights of citizens in their community, and then a crazy person or a terrorist or a militant, whichever you want to call him, decided he was going to take their lives. And the thing is, so we lost 5 brave officers, 7 more officers were shot that day, a total of 12. So at this point, we're going to have a moment of silence, and next week we'll be closing the meeting in memory of these officers. I'll have their names on the agenda, but could we now have a moment of silence for the 5 fallen officers from Dallas, Texas? Okay, thank you. Now we'll get back to the positive part of the program. I'd like to welcome all the town officials, members of the police department. Captain Brown's here with me. We have Sergeant Dan Wilson representing the South Nyack Grandview Police Department. What? Oh, I'm sorry, Chief Newberry's here also. Didn't see you back there, Brent. And Dan Wilson and Chief Newberry work with TJ Hutmarker because they were former Orangetown police officers. So I think they are here tonight, not only as police officers, but as friends. And it's sort of funny, Ann said to me before we started the meeting, she goes, you know, I was here the night when TJ Hutmarker's father made lieutenant. And that was back in 2007. Now, his dad had served at the department since 1993, had a distinguished career as a detective sergeant, and in the last year of his career, he made lieutenant. I said, well, I think I got one up on you. I said, I was working patrol the day TJ Hutmarker was born. And he met his mother and father, his mother Pam, when she was pregnant with his sister Danielle. Kelly, you were here already by the time. But I just want to say, out of all the promotion ceremonies we've done, oh my God, look at these little faces up here. I'm glad this is not a school night. I almost feel as if we should yell their names out, but I won't do that to you. But these are all his children, nieces and nephews. And thank you so much for coming to this glorious night, okay? I want to tell you something about TJ. He really is probably what we look for in a police officer in town here. He grew up in town, grew up in Pearl River, attended Nanuet schools. He was a champion lacrosse player. Eventually, I believe, went to West Point Prep, but eventually decided to move his athletic career to Sacred Heart University up in Connecticut, where he was the captain of that team. He left college, okay, after having a very distinguished athletic career. He went into the financial field, became an accountant, and in 2004, he joined the Orangetown Police Department to follow in his father's footsteps. He was appointed a police officer back then. Since that time, the thing is, he's been a crime prevention officer with us. He's been a field training officer, which is a great prelude to being a supervisor in our department because you're training the new generation of police officer. He was on the very distinguished Rockland County REACT team, which is the county's SWAT team, and he's a team leader on that, and I think now that he's a sergeant, he'll have increased responsibility. And in his most recent assignment out of patrol, he served as the school liaison officer to the South Orangetown, Provo School Districts, or any school in town that had a particular issue. And I think we've had some critical things happen at the schools during the past school year, and TJ was right there to kind of help the families, help the students. And so that, besides the fact that in order to make sergeant, you really got to study pretty hard. Besides for your college degree, you got to study, a lot of law and different things, supervisory techniques, and you get on the list, and I will tell you, the town board agree. It gets harder and harder to choose a candidate because we have so many good officers here in town, officers with education, experience, military experience, and it becomes harder and harder for all of us to say who is the right person. But in this particular selection, TJ was certainly the right person for us to promote, and we did that about 3 weeks ago, and it was a very busy night we did it, so we decided that we would do his swearing in tonight, as opposed to next week, because I think he was not available next week. And so what the protocol is going to be is we're going to, we probably should move the table back. I think a lot of people are coming up, but we're going to introduce Sergeant Hutmacher. We're going to ask his family or whoever he decides to come up and be with him when he gets sworn in to come up, okay? And then a family member will be selected to pin the badge on. Sometimes the child, sometimes the wife, sometimes the mother. I'll let you fight that out, okay? And of course, then we'll make sure you get the pictures you want. And this will go in your scrapbook as you'll all be saying, look how young I look years from now. Oh my God, look how big I am now, But besides that, the thing is you'll have a proud memento of an accomplishment that is really important in a police officer's career. So with that, I'm going to call up newly appointed Sergeant Terrence Hutmacher to the front of the room. At that point, his family will join us. The town board voted on this already, so they do not need to vote. And then we'll swear, the town clerk will swear him in, and we'll take it from there. Congratulations. And we'll have to stand this much. Do you want to do it over here, Charlie? Sure. Yeah. We'll give the badge to the Come on up, everybody. Get in the pictures. Stand over here.
I, Terrence Joseph Hutmacher II, do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution
of the United States of America.
And I will uphold the Constitution
And I will uphold the Constitution
of the State of New York.
And I will do the duty
of Sergeant
of Sergeant
to the town of Orangetown
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You may kiss the brother.
And there's one more thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chief, you like to finish up?
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing. It's sort of funny. As an officer gets promoted in our department, we lose another great officer to retirement, and sometimes that's something they want to do, so we're always happy for them when they make that decision. In this case, he made the decision, and we have back here, and just raise your hand, Sergeant Joe Grunsky, who Joe did 28 years with in the police service. Starting his career in Spring Valley Police, Joe then came to the Orangetown Police probably about 26 years ago. And he was on our hostage negotiation team. Joe was a field training officer also. And when he walked in next to his son, I thought it was two brothers walking in because he told me he was at the beach last week. I said, full head of hair, nice tan, retirement's treating him good so far. But Joe, on behalf of myself and the town board and the department, thank you so much for your years of service to the Orangetown Police Department. And we're glad you're going to enjoy your retirement as a retired police sergeant. Thank you so much, Joe. With that, I turn it back to the town board.
Thank you, Chief Nolte, and I know I speak for the entire town board in thanking our police officers for the police department for the work you do. Particularly, it's been tough the last few weeks, and our hearts are certainly with our officers. It's a really an amazing thing, I imagine, to be a police officer. There's probably not one person in this room who doesn't have the capacity in them to act heroically to save innocent people, which is what our police officers do. But the police have to do something really entirely different sometimes too, and that is they have to work so hard also to protect the bad guys, to keep them from doing bad things and hurting anybody, but also to get them too to a safe place. And that, I think, must take incredible discipline, amazing training to use that kind of a skill in so many different kinds of situations that can be stressful and unpredictable and uncertain. So it really is an amazing undertaking to be a police officer, and we welcome and support and celebrate the accomplishments of our police department, which is really second to none. So thank you, Police Chief Nolte, and all the police officers here and the families for supporting our police officers in their work. On behalf of the town board, have a wonderful and safe night. The first set of items on our agenda, sorry, you guys, if you want to leave, you're welcome to. The rest of the meeting is probably not quite as interesting. Thank you. Right. Not that I recall it. Congratulations on your retirement. All right, folks, so we may need a little help. Maybe someone could close the doors back there so that they can socialize and it won't be a distraction. We have a full agenda for tonight. It's a workshop meeting. I don't think we're proposing any votes early on anything. Just a couple of reminders. Next week, there's the O'Connor Davies accounting group will come in to provide a report on their independent audit of the town. It happens every year. And there's also the continuation of a public hearing on the park policy, as well as another public hearing on a zoning change matter. There's one item, actually items 11 and 12, or 12 and 13, relating to a zoning matter that it looks like we won't be ready to act on next week. So that's on the agenda, but we'll just skip over it. It relates to the Route 303 overlay zone. And that's it for announcements for right now. I wanted to welcome Carolyn Hill, who's with us tonight. Just if you could step to the podium for a minute. She is the leader of the effort to create a safe crossing for the turtles on Western Highway during their nesting season. And because she called upon and really got good support from the town in various ways, I thought it would be nice just to report back to the town board on how it went this season.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, I am honored to be here, truly, to talk turtles. You may not know that the common snapping turtle is New York State's official reptile. And I know you know that a lot of our celebrities live here in our neighborhood. And as a resident of Western Highway down in that stretch where the turtles cross from one side of the road to the other to lay their eggs and then go back, I'm happy to say that over the last few years, our community has really joined together to help preserve and keep safe these creatures who I kind of feel like are my neighbors. They live right across the street from me. I see them every year. They literally come to my doorstep. So until you're up close and personal to them, I don't know, you may not have the same kind of appreciation, I don't know. But at any rate, want to take a minute to thank our community who has come together. The Blauvelt Library has designed signs, created flyers. This coming year, they also want to host a program on turtles and turtle safety and preservation. Foley Signs donated a box of signs that we use now every year. O'Sullivan's Tree Service has donated bright colored vests and cool orange flags for people who stand next to the road to wave them down. Orangetown Police Animal Control Officers, as well as the Orangetown Police, of course, have just been phenomenal in supporting the whole effort. The flashing signs that we have on either side of the stretch of Western Highway, along with Clarkstown on one side, has been great. Our Supervisor Stewart, thank you so much. It's been very wonderful helping raise awareness with media interviews and postings on the website. The County Highway Department authorized orange cones one year to help with the traffic safety. Hudson Valley Humane Society in Pomona has helped treat wounded turtles. Our town news, Journal News, Channel 12, FiOS have all done stories. We have volunteer crossing guards now. And the last couple of years, we've had Girl Scout troops to come and actually help slow down traffic, stand way far from the road, by the way, so you know. And then they get to see the turtles up close and personal as well. We have a veterinarian from Valley Cottage Animal Hospital, Dr. Zach Whitman, who actually performs surgery on the turtles. And he's harvested some eggs that will actually release this fall down at the creek. And it's really cool if you want to come. Watch for our website page, or we have a Facebook page now. And we've actually released baby turtles into the creek down there. It's kind of fun. Suez Water has authorized dumping of mulch on the west side of the road so that hopefully the turtles won't feel that they have to cross. And for the countless cars who do slow down and assist and really provide support, I'm happy that and grateful that I live in a community of people who want to come together, and when people come together for a good cause, good things happen. So as a resident, thank you very much.
Carolyn, thank you so much for your leadership on this, and it's nice that you've gotten the support that you have. Western Highway is a really busy road, but there's residential, areas along there, and people struggle with the traffic, and you guys have done a great
Very
job,
true.
I think, of bringing awareness to the traffic safety and the turtle, obviously trying to protect the turtles as they cross over, too.
Right.
And I will attempt to notify everybody when I find out about when the baby turtles will be released in the fall, which is really an amazing thing to see. We'll try to make sure anybody who wants to can come out and see that happen.
Great. Thank you.
So thanks for your work, and please convey our appreciation to all the other volunteers involved.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Take care now. Have a nice night. All right, so items on the town board agenda for tonight. And again, this is workshop agenda, so these are items for next week. The first one is our town parks policy, or rather change the town code regarding parks, which I think has been fairly well discussed. We've had public comments in the public hearing. I believe, we're continuing it next week. So there may be another opportunity for people to weigh in, but in any case, the full text somewhat adjusted based on comments in further thought, and I appreciate Councilman Divany's leadership on this, and of course work with the town attorneys and Eric Gordon, our park superintendent, as well. So there's some changes there, and anybody who's curious, read closely and see it.
This is the final, pretty much the final version.
until the next one comes, but no. This is, I think this is it. Our guy and Andy have gone back and forth, but this, I think this is it, so.
So that's that. If there's any discussion on that by members of the town board, I know we've all been back and forth, and Eric Orton has been incredibly helpful on this as well. So that's the first item. That brings us up to, I may have skipped over one, actually. Let's see, no. Actually, I don't think I did. So that's several items related to that, and then we get up to number 5, which is a public hearing on a adjustment on the town zoning code related to bulk for churches and schools. And so we've scheduled a hearing on that, and there's text here for the proposed amendment to the town code included in the agenda.
But, I mean, mostly next week, and Rob, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we're just gonna declare ourselves the lead agency, neg deck, and it's gonna go up to the county for their review, which I believe is 35 days. You know, Rob and I have reviewed the town code, and we really, really need a comprehensive review of the town code, because if you go through it, it has to be updated. It's probably 50, 60 years old in some places, and this is one aspect that Rob and Dennis and myself have looked at and said we need to update it. It's not the end all, it's just the beginning, but it's something that is a step in the right direction. But we really need, I think, if maybe even next week, we need to authorize, I think, $100,000 to have someone come in here and make recommendations about how we should update the code. We need to do it. We've been talking about it, but we need to do it, you know? So that's where we are with that.
And I agree with that. So we'll work on that together. So this is the bulkiest one. Number 9 is a contract lease agreement with a cell company for use of the tower on top of Town Hall. It shows a 3% increase annually. Number 10 is a tax certiorari, and it lists the business and the location in there. Same goes for number 11.
Sorry, where is West Shore Plaza?
580 Route 303. Number 11, similarly, a tax certiorari. Number 12 and 13 were the items that we were asked to take off for pulling that, so skip over that. Number 14, this is an item similar to a couple that we've done in the recent year or so, where there's a residential property that's located in a commercial office district, and it's beneficial to the zoning and beneficial to the town to adjust the boundaries
And more
as
importantly,
petitioned.
when this property was originally built, it was in a residential zone. They changed the zoning to CO, and even though it's, you know, it's on a residential street, it doesn't make any sense. I think they just didn't even look at his house, they just said it's in the CO zone, so it really makes sense to change it back to R15.
So there's been a petition which is accepted, and a public hearing will be set for September 13, and a small change in the town code adjusting the boundary of the zone will be considered. Numbers 16 and 17 are pursuant to earlier town board resolutions authorizing working with our grant writer Sylvia Welch on drainage and highway facilities. So number 16, we had gotten a grant for roughly $50,000. The highway department had, working with our grant writer and myself, for the design of some drainage work on Route 303 along the Spark Hill Creek near Mountain View and the Innovation Plastics driveway. And so this would follow up on that to try to get even more money to actually do the work. So that's a step in the right direction. And as pretty much always, the grant comes with a 25% town match that is in kind. In other words, the highway department does a lot of work to put these things together. And so the out-of-pocket cash is minimal if we get the grant, but which is not to say that there isn't a lot of work that goes into it, and the value of that is substantial in terms of the labor of the engineers and the highway folks. So that's that one. The second one is the salt brine recapture facility that would enable the town to install a facility in the highway yard that makes more efficient use of salt and also enables the washing down of trucks and saving the salty water while extending the life of the trucks. So that's a capital facility, and we're asking for money for that. And we've tried that before, I think, Jim, and so far, we haven't had success, but we have had success on other grants, so hopefully we'll get a friendly response on that one. Because we've discussed these matters before, unless the town board has questions or concerns, I'm just going to keep on going. The number 18 is following on our work with the Kamali family and the proposal for a filming campus in the central 65-acre portion of Rockland site that the town owns and some adjacent lands, is authorizing an appraisal contract for that land. So this is I just got these numbers from Bill Beckman today and put this together for the workshop agenda, and I welcome discussion on this, but we have a week to do any fine tuning we need to. Dennis, did you have a comment or question?
We don't own the Rockland Children's Psychiatric, but could we have Beckman appraise that at the same time too, so the state doesn't come in?
Why?
Because I'm still concerned about Rockland Children's Psychiatric, what happens with that. And I would like to see, if we're gonna go ahead with this thing in a movie studio, I would like to see that the Rockland Children's Psychiatric and the state are part of this deal. It just takes care of the whole thing. And I don't want the state to come back and say that, which they've done in the past, where they owe money on outstanding bonds, say for, I don't know, I'll make up a number, $20 million. So they say that that property's worth $20 million, even though if it was appraised, it might be worth $3 million.
Well, here's the deal. Us doing an appraisal and saying it's worth X doesn't mean the state's gonna agree with it.
It just gives me an idea.
And you're just wasting town money doing that.
Well, if it's a thing where,
I agree with you, but the state's gonna say, we want 20 million, and we don't care what your appraisal says.
hey, listen, you're probably right about what the state's gonna say.
Yeah.
I would still like to have a number on that piece of property before the state comes in with their, whatever crazy estimate they'd come in with.
If Cuomo wants film campus in Orangetown, which he does,
Well,
he'll-
I agree.
he'll be
Tom,
ready to-
I hope you're right.
One way of
I don't have a lot of faith in that, but I hope you're right.
we'll see, I just think we got,
sooner or later, if all goes well, the state will have to divulge a purchase price and the appraisals that would justify it. And not only for that property, which is all important for the town, but also for the power plant complex.
and
And that's what I was thinking, since I don't know, but, the price seems a little high, maybe we could get him to throw in the other parcel too. So I'll talk with him about that and see what, maybe we can get a little more tossed into this appraisal for the same price. Number 19 is, number 19, 20, 21,
training.
and 22 are all training-related resolutions for police officers, and we just discussed this with the police chief, and so nothing new there. We thank them for going out and enthusiastically getting the training that they need for their jobs.
I think you ought to
Support
say,
that.
just say what the training is for each one, so people
Okay.
understand what we're doing
All
with
right,
the police.
thank you for that. So Michael McDanis,
That was after.
this is a field training officer course, where they get training to then in turn be the field trainer for our police officers who are new hires. Number 20 is for Dan Ryan to attend the juvenile investigator training. Our detectives get specialized training in terms of dealing with young people. Number 21 is for Detective Frank Bueller, also to get the training for investigating juvenile cases. And number 22 is for Chief Nolte to attend an intelligence summit, and that's taking place in Geneva, New York. Number 23 is the adoption of the Certificate of Current Homestead Base Proportions and Adjusted Base Proportions in the 2016 assessment roll, and this is essentially, following from state work and comes through the assessor, and it's essentially a formula.
Just a quick question on that to Jeff. All right. It looks like it's favorable to the homeowners, and not by a lot, but because we've had increases in the past that were 5%, which was the max.
Last year was pretty severe, it was like 1.8% the other way.
Yeah.
So this year it's 0.2 or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very close. Yeah, it's a decimal point, so that's good. That's good to see.
Yeah, the split between homestead and non-homestead is pretty stable.
Yeah, neither one is a big change.
Number 24 is from our receiver of taxes, establishing a fee for return checks when there's insufficient funds. Number 25 is Showmobile for the Piermont Police Athletic League event on September 8th. Number 26, Showmobile Sons of Italy Italian Feast, September 15th through 18th. Number 27, also from Parks and Rec or Facilities, is a contract with Johnson Controls for air conditioning. Thank you, Eric, for putting that together. Number 28 is also from Parks and Rec. It's a list of equipment, mostly from the golf courses, but not entirely, that is old and being surplused. So if anybody wants to go out and see if they can get a hold of an old golf cart, now's the time.
A golf court, $10.
$10. You might be able to roll it down the hill, though, or something like that.
This is all pretty much junk.
All right, just asking.
We got Flintstones, you can put your feet through the floor and push.
All right,
Number 29
maybe next year.
is approval of a training for Stefan Muno to attend the American Public Works Association Public Works Congress and Exposition, and he really plays a leadership role in that organization, as has Jim Dean for many years. And that's no cost to the town, but certainly important. The town board recognized that travel is taking place. Number 30 is, and 31 are, and 32 are all highway equipment bids being awarded following a competitive bidding process for some really important new equipment. A heavy-duty truck with accessories is number 30. Number 31 is a new street sweeper. And number 32 is the snow plows for sidewalks.
Jim, you went, on number 32, you went with the most qualified bidder? Well,
Yes. Actually, these bids came in with $198
okay.
on a $270,000 bid.
It's amazing.
The one that we chose is out of Long Island, the other one is outside of Rochester.
All right,
So just, having to run for emergency services.
Yeah, no, that makes
It
sense.
makes more sense to buy them.
All right.
But it was a good asset to the state.
That's great. All right.
Sharp pencils are $270,000.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Hopefully they weren't talking to each other. Number 33 is certificate of registration for sewer work. There's two companies listed. Number 34, this is the demolition of a small pump station in South Nyack that's been decommissioned, and it's following on work actually down River Road there. That was a collaboration between our own engineering and also the Thruway bridge project.
Can we vote on that tonight? It's being done Thursday. Joe's gonna be out.
Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, I think Joe had asked for that. I'm happy to move that for approval.
Yeah, you told the town.
Is that all right, Teresa? Good. Thank you.
We told her that we were voting.
That's all right, you'll get it. Motion for myself. Who'd like to second that? Dennis? All in favor, say aye. Thank you for that reminder. So number 34, just have to remember to take it off for next week. It's nice to have that resolved. The folks at the apartment building there were concerned to be able to rebuild their fence and some other things that required the removal of that old structure. And the town and the village of South Nyack shared the cost of taking a look to see if there's any asbestos in there and getting the prices, and getting rid of this thing is a good thing. Number 35 and 36 are both personnel items. 35 is establishing position of clerk seasonal to replace clerk part-time in Parks and Rec. Any questions about that? So forward. 36 is appointing Leslie Doran, clerk seasonal in Parks and Rec, following number 35. Number 37 is a resolution appointing Lisa Hastings as court clerk to replace Maureen, who retired.
I think Rich Finning is here from Justice.
Where's Rich? Oh, there he is. Sorry, Rich, I didn't see you back there. Come right up to the podium. Rich, if you could just speak here, because believe it or not, people are probably watching on TV, and it's great for them to
Well,
see
the
one of the town
All-Star game
judges.
is on, so I question whether they're watching it, but, all right. I know that's where I'd like to be. But in any event, since the resolution is worded that it's the recommendation of the town justices, it should be worded as the town justices recommended it. And that was to appoint Lisa Hastings to the position of court clerk, but at the salary of $93,012, which is what the salary was when Maureen vacated the position 2 weeks ago. And I would note for the record that Clarkstown's court clerk makes $120,800, and Ramapo's court clerk, upon information and belief, makes more than $130,000. So I think
Wow.
based on the responsibilities, and I know we're not those two towns, and we don't want to be necessarily those two towns, but the fact is, those are the comparable clerk positions, and so I think 93, in light of the fact that that is the amount that the court clerk was making, and that the duties have not changed, and only in the future will increase with the demands that the state puts on the courts without any additional funding. So that's what I wanted to say, and I put it to the board that it's our recommendation that Lisa received what Maureen was receiving, $93,012. Okay?
Thank you, Rich. And I could correct the wording on that, because I know that we do disagree on the proposed salary. So somehow we'll get the recommendation of the appointment from you, and maybe the budget item could be worded differently. We're certainly having some conversation about this internally, and there's absolutely nothing personal about it. It's an attempt to get a salary level which recognizes the increased responsibility and the fact that it's a promotion, at the same time, having a defensible number with regard to that decision. So that's where that stands right now. And I guess we'll vote on it next week and see where we come down on it. Number 38 is a small adjustment to an earlier resolution that was establishing the position of the town clerk. Number 39, establishment of the deputy. What is it? I think we missed the word deputy in the title to this, because we certainly already have a town clerk. 39 is the contract with Coventry Healthcare. Jeff, is this something that you can speak to? Is this your resolution? Just want to make sure the town board understands what's going on here.
Sure. This is part of the Workers' Comp Board and some of the recommendations there. And really what these Coventry does is they're nurses. And what we do is we assign them to all of our workers' comp cases. And their job is to ensure that everything is being done to get either the officer or the employee back to work as soon as possible. So they make sure that the doctors aren't necessarily extending times for when they can get them in. They also serve as a double check on the doctor to make sure that the doctor is acting in good faith, for lack of a better word. And all of this is part of our strategy to maintain a healthy workforce and get our employees who are hurt back to work as soon as possible.
Thanks for the elaboration on that. And number 40, also since you're there, relates to health benefits and vision for retirees, if you have anything. Jeff? Sorry. This is the retiree vision coverage. Is this something the town does every year, or is it something new, or what?
That we may want to talk with personnel about. I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. Don, is that something you can provide a little bit of the background on? Thanks.
We already have this for Retiree Dental. This is just an option that retirees, after their COBRA period is over of 36 months, they can opt into the CSEA Vision, which they have to pay themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the dental. So it's just to have you sign the agreement, and then we're in the program. It's no cost to the town. It's only a cost to the retiree.
It just has to be authorized in order for them
Correct.
to make use of that benefit. Gotcha. Well, thank you for that. That seems like a good thing for the retirees. Are there any other items for the agenda that we need to discuss or put on for next week? Popping up on you. Okay. Well, it's a relatively short meeting for tonight, and I'm looking out at the room. We got some of our department heads here. Are there any matters that Jim or Joe or Eric, Bob, that you want to bring up for the town board? Okay. Then, not hearing any other matters from the members of the town council, I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Usually we save the adjournments to the regular town board meeting, so maybe we'll leave off on that for now, but there's a list of 7 individuals who passed away, who we will adjourn in memory of next week, along with also Chief Nolte is going to make a comment about the Dallas police officers who were killed as well. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Jerry, all in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Have a safe trip home.